in Dunsmuir, and he said it was in 1973.
Oh.
He was a brand new attorney from the California Public Utilities Commission and was here to file a complaint against the Shasta Retreat Water Company on behalf of unhappy customers. It was at this time that he met Chris Stromsness, who was representing the city of Dunsmuir. And in Peter's words, with Chris showing me the ropes, we made a very effective team. During this time, Peter stayed at Cave Springs, and in his time off, he explored downtown and the Sacramento River. Peter returned to San Francisco, but he left his heart here in Dunsmuir. For the next 34 years, Peter returned often to Dunsmuir to fish and enjoy the outdoors here. Peter was getting close to retirement and thought he'd like a getaway, a second home to enjoy fishing and the seasons. He purchased the Wells building on the corner of Sacramento and Cedar in 2006, and another property along with his friend Dave Hicks and his wife Nicole. After moving to Dunsmuir full-time in 2008 with Deborah Day, he was recruited by our then mayor, Linda Guzman, to fill one of the 3 vacancies on the city council. In 2010, he was elected mayor. And I think I'm going to let Peter fill you in on the details of that adventure. And Peter has served on a lot of committees. When I walk around town, I see Peter putting his time, his energy, and resources into helping Dunsmuir maintain its charm and helping people realize their dreams. I'm going to take you on a little walking tour. We're going to start down there at the corner of Sacramento and Cedar. That's where Peter and Deborah live. Most people saw the Wells building as just a tear down, but Peter bought it and he brought it back to life, and it's very impressive. Next door on Sacramento Avenue is the old Opera House, which Peter bought, and and he's outfitting it to become a bakery one day. And the next building he owns is the Brown Trout, and on the left half was the Dogwood Diner, which we all enjoyed tremendously, and now it's the Wheelhouse, which is owned and operated by 2 young, energetic couples. And at the Wheelhouse, you're going to find good food, beer, coffee, and lots of games.
Yeah.
And the other half of the Brown Trout building is Deborah Day's Brown Trout Vintage. And it's filled with great clothes, antiques, and a lot of just really far out stuff. And the next building is here, right here, Pops. Pops is Victor Martin's dream, and it's coming to life, not only in this fabulous space, but the lot next door, which has been transformed into a performing patio. And Peter owns the lot to the north of us, which used to be the Window Box Nursery. But it could be yours. I think it's for sale. And then we continue down to the corner, and we go up Pine Street. And at the top of Pine and Dunsmuir Avenue, Peter bought the bank building. And below the bank building are 4 storefronts that are on Pine Street. And 3 of those spaces are now occupied by people realizing their dream. And then we continue up to Dunsmuir Avenue and make a right turn, and Peter owns the Renero building, which has apartments upstairs and downstairs real estate business in the storefront. And then if you go across the street is the old Coronet building. What a remarkable change this building has gone through. Not only is it pleasing to the eye, it's more than just sound. complete with conference rooms. And headlines in last Wednesday's newspaper read, Dunsmuir's first sun-powered commercial building. And we're all really happy to have Firewhat and the River Center in this location. 3 doors south of Gary's Pizza Factory on Dunsmuir Avenue are 2 storefronts that are now the Siskiyou Arts Museum. Peter not only remodeled this space, but helped Sam, as we call it, financially to get up and going. And then moving farther south on Dunsmuir Avenue, Peter owns the Community Resource Center building, and he made the needed repairs there. And then on the corner below Belknap Fountain is the land that Peter donates to be used for the community garden. And Garden Master, Rami White, and her volunteers have ambitious plans for this summer. And now I'd just like to read just a little bit from some of the nomination letters. And this by Helen Cartwright. Every property he owns is beautifully renovated, sparing no expense, and sets an example of how a historic district should be preserved and enhanced. And Harry Dalto says, Peter purchased a number of vacant buildings in Dunsmuir, thus making many of them a vital part of our city. And Ann Powers says, Peter has done more for Dunsmuir than anyone else in town. And this last comment, I believe, sums him up. And this is Barbara Martin. He gives graciously, generously, thoughtfully. So now let's get on to the awards, and I'd like Mr. Valenzuela to come up. Yay!
So I'm very fortunate to be the representative for Alexander Dunsmuir District 2 supervisor. And as you folks know, most of you, I do this regularly, and I'm grateful to do it. And I try to be down here as often as possible. And I just want to tell you a couple quick stories about Peter Arth. I will tell you, and I'm not sure if Peter would agree to this, but I think our initial relationship, particularly since the political realm, I think kind of put us on boxing sides, get the gloves on type of thing. But we've come to, at least I've come to very much respect Peter. One, he's someone that has put a lot of time and effort into this community. It's an honor for me to get resolutions passed. I was telling the reporter here, to my knowledge, I'm the only supervisor that does that for their communities. For whatever reason, it just doesn't happen. And I think it's an honor for me personally to be able to do this. The other story I wanted to relate to you goes to the political realm. Most of you know that I'm at the short end of a 4-to-1 vote more often than I care to. And so you're forced to look in the mirror. Geez, am I really, am I wrong? One of the things that Peter Arth did arrange, this is one of these things you just, here's a man that's giving on all levels. He arranged for a meeting with Mr. Peavy, who was at the time still chairman for the PUC committee. Came up, I brought Supervisor Kopseff, we met with him, talk about political capital. That was it in spades. So I do have credibility with my board members, but that was something I think most people don't realize. He's always working for you. He's doing it on all levels. I'm very much appreciative. I consider him a friend. And so I just wanted to read a couple of the whereases. Thank you, Will, for helping me with this. Again, it was an honor to do this. Whereas his appreciation for the town and vision for its future have been demonstrated time and time again, and I think that's just ongoing. You see those properties, I just can't imagine, what we would be without that. Whereas Peter Arth invested in Dunsmuir Brewery Works beer garden expansion and should be in use this summer. Whereas Peter Arth established and renovated the Pops Cultural Arts Center space. We all know what a wonderful place this is. Whereas Peter Arth donated the land for the Dunsmuir Community Garden, a space that allows citizens to grow their own fruits and vegetables. Whereas Peter Arth has been contributing to the life and livelihood of our community over 10 years, it is fitting that he receives the Alexander Award, which he so richly deserves. And of course, it was unanimously passed. And then the final story I wanted to relate to you when it comes to all that he does. This Tuesday, I'm going to meet with the Dunsmuir Library Group, and you know, the library has always been near and dear to my heart. He allowed the Dunsmuir Library people to have their little book sale place there for a year. I think that was a learning lesson for them. But again, time and time again, this man just does all he can for this community. And so it's an honor to have passed this. And Peter Arth, I just really want to tell you how much I appreciate you.
There's more. I get a chance to trade the resolution for two.
Don't go away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a few things for you.
Oh, goody.
Here's a plaque honoring you in recognition of continuing service to the city of Dunsmuir.
Nice. Nice.
And let's see, a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Peter Arth. And it's from Doug Lamaffa. State of California Senate Certificate of Recognition presented to Peter Arth in honor of the Alexander Dunsmuir Award for 2015 for numerous contributions and dedication to the city. Senator Ted Gaines, 5th District.
That's big fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this.
This is Senator Ted also.
So for the same, the two, is that for the other person?
Okay.
These are your tax dollars at work.
Okay. What? Yeah. California Legislature Assembly Certificate of Recognition. Signed Brian Dahl.
What a dog. All right. Do I need this? Can you hear me? Thank you all for coming, first and foremost. There's a lot of things you could be doing on Saturday night. You chose to come here because you're good Dunsmuirians, and I know Big Dave and I are very appreciative that you cared enough to come. I basically want to do a series of thank yous that are made a lot shorter because of Linda's brilliant introductory remarks. She must have been looking through the window when I was penning my remarks. I first want to introduce my partner, Deborah Day, to any of you that don't know. And in introducing her, one of the things I did want to say, as a third-generation Californian that grew up in Southern California, the other end of the state, as a farm boy, in a small town, I always had a sense of camaraderie, and I always had a sense of strong women in our town. From Redlands back to Dunsmuir, I have to say I have not seen a community with so many strong women in it. McCoon's history of Dunsmuir and the first-person family stories that are in it, as much as the men labored in the forests and on the railroads, the women were there every step of the way, organizing the community, keeping the community strong, caring about the kids, caring about the old people. And I think it's a marvelous blessing that will serve Dunsmuir well in the future. When we first moved up here, Deborah and I, we did not know a soul. And one of the first couples to take us under their wing, what caused them to do it, I'll never know, was Harriet Alto and Carl Alto. And as Ed Valenzuela said, I seem to have arrived with some need to shake things up, and it wasn't immediately popular in all corners of the whole community. And we grew to really value those who would put up with my shenanigans and would treat us as interesting but not toxic. And so Harriet and Carl would take us to the pasta feed at St. John's. They took us to the first two of these occasions. The memorable one where Ron Manfredi won, what did he win? Citizen of the Year, Mr. Dunsmuir. And that led to some discussion between Ron and Candace Miller's mother.
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of the most notable things I'd ever been to. And I'm sort of... But I think it's extraordinary we're here tonight. And I've just read a magazine article about social media. And I don't know how many of you tweet or how many of you Facebook or how many of you do the various medias, but the point is for the generations behind us who now look at screens all day and can see anything they want to see, the most popular TV series is the series Friends. You can watch 8,000 things, but they like Friends. Why do they like Friends? Because it's a world they don't live in. It's a world where people talk to each other. It's a world where you're not sitting at a table looking at what's on your screen. You're actually interacting. You're looking people in the eye. You're saying, how you doing? And they cherish that. And we have that. And that to me is one of the strongest forces that's going to see us through. I had no plan at all. As Linda said, we really planned on staying in the Bay Area and having a second home. And David and Nicole got sucked into, well, maybe it ought to be, we're going to move up here. And things just, we both bought the elementary school site, all 17 lots of it, and things just kept rolling along from there. But it is an extraordinary, my family's not here, my parents are gone, my kids are off doing something else, my brother and sister's off doing something else. I crave connection. So to have David Hicks come up as a fishing buddy, to have Wally as a fishing buddy, to have Jerry Totten, we have 7 enormous erections up by the Cornet Theater. Well, they've lasted well more than 4 hours, every single one of them. They're 16 feet long. 16 But we're going to grow hops this summer because the extraordinary energy. When I met David Clarno, he was varnishing the top of the bar in what was to be the Dunsmuir Brewery Works, and I'd walk by on a hot summer afternoon all thirsty and say, Dave, are you getting close yet? Next week. Next week. But they did get the brewery works opened, David and Aaron Clarno. About the same time, I met Sam Lanier and his gang from Firewood, and to just sit down under a shady tree and talk about what could be between their business, a small craft brewery in Dunsmuir, the first tech business in Dunsmuir, young people coming to Dunsmuir with dreams, that seemed right to me. And for all of you that have taken the plunge to open a small business in Dunsmuir, and that's the only kind of business there is, Mr. Clarno and I are happy to share our favorite joke, which is, how do you make $1 million in Dunsmuir with a business?
I've started too.
Start with 5.
It's gone up.
Start with 5 million.
Maybe it will end up.
And you know, anybody that's got half a brain would never even try to do all of this, but we were missing that half a brain. It seemed like a good thing to do, and that was several years ago. As I stand here tonight, it seems like it was a great thing to do. And Linda sort of did the walk around, which I was going to do, but I'm extremely, extremely grateful to those that are in league trying to revive what we saw in the pictures from the 1950s and the 1940s. A vibrant downtown Dunsmuir, lots of small businesses, the local economy campaign. I don't know who in the chamber gets credit for it, but the idea that we support each other as a local economy, we support each other as brothers and sisters, that we care about one another, that is what's going to continue to make us an amazing, special town. So, as Linda said, my thanks to, of course, the Brewery Works, to Firewood, to the River Exchange, to Mountain Medics, to Alpine Realty, to the Tattoo Parlor, to the Royal Cleaners. Bite this, chew on that. Pet food, what else you got? Everything, they got everything. Most especially Brown Trout Vintage, and the newest in the Brown Trout building, the Wheelhouse, and the Wheelhouse gang and I are going to get the bakery open. I swear we are.
Yeah.
We've had a sign up there that says coming soon, and probably the longest restaurant orgasm in the South County. It's been over a year. I'm very, very proud of Pops. I'm proud of the Skull Sisters and Victor for taking an empty building and breathing life into it. I'm very, very proud of the board of the Siskiyou Arts Museum. We took an empty building, and with very little money and a ton of community spirit, it was the prices that were sort of the overseeing force for mostly volunteer effort. I'm very, very proud of the Dunsmuir Community Gardens. We're going to start building the Dunsmuir Community Resource Center with the notion that I actually thought I was going to go second, so that in my comments I could congratulate Dave Keisler, because there are certain things Dave and I share. Our kids are very, very important. We have to do everything we can to sustain our kids, make sure they have a healthy life and a good education. Volunteerism will hit the point. I'm sure Big Dave will hit the point. All of you know we're a small town. We're not a wealthy town, but that's okay. Small is good. Volunteering is good. Helping is good. We can do just enough to make us the special place that it is. think that's all I want to say. I want to close with a poem that was written by Mary Ann Pickerbill. Some of you know her, some of you don't. Rhea and Deborah were with Mary Ann at the end. She wrote this poem in January of 2011. At that time, I think she knew her time with us was not going to be that much longer. It was after the big nasty wars that we'd had on the city council, and the town was divided, and everybody was all chippy and upset. You remember some of that? Perhaps Caleb Cartwright, who patiently served with me on the council for a short time. A Dunsmuir poem by Mary Ann Pickerbill, sent to me by Harriet Alto. I didn't know about this poem. Why is it that there are some of us who never give up on Dunsmuir, who keep believing, hoping, and trusting that Dunsmuir is going to really be something one of these days? Is it the pure water, the charming downtown, the river that runs through it, the deep sense of community, or the magical moments around town with other Dunsmuirians that won't allow us to let go of the dream for Dunsmuir? The dream of a prosperous, bustling, and artistic Dunsmuir, full of art, restaurants, stores, and tourists, a destination place for city folks who need a rest. I love this next one. New businesses come and go. People come and go. City managers come and go. New ideas come and go. City councils come and go. And the town of Dunsmuir still stands. Old and charming, it stands tall, and it lives on and survives through it all. Though Dunsmuir looks empty and ghostly at times, it is very much alive in the hearts of those Dunsmuirians who won't let go, who keep believing, hoping, and trusting in the dream for Dunsmuir, against all odds, in spite of present-day appearances. Thanks be to all of the Dunsmuirians who never give up, who believe in the dream and do all that they can do to make it happen. On the honor of Alexander Dunsmuir, we all are related in this way. Thank you for coming again. Thank you for being part of Dunsmuir, and thank you for this honor.
Will present the Citizen of the Year.
Thank you, Will. It's really an honor to do this for Big Dave. You know, it's really kind of inspiring to see how people come here to this small town and reinvent themselves. So we have a lawyer from San Francisco who moves here and reinvents himself as a kind of one-man redevelopment agency. Well, it's true, basically. And then we have Dave Keisler, reinventing himself from, as I understand it, a San Diego biker dude to a pillar of the community. And, you know, folks, isn't it great, really, how he has overcome his shyness? Since he moved here, he's kind of, you know, come out of his shell a little bit. I think it's just really great to see that. Now, I like to tease him about that because I think he's probably about the most extroverted person I have ever known. The first time I saw him, was on Sacramento Avenue, I'd say about 6 years ago, organizing his first soapbox derby for the Dogwood Days Festival. So so it's something like this, you know, hey, over there! No, go over there, get over, no, over here, get over, over there! Whoa.
Good job. Good job.
Hulk Hogan on steroids. Now this guy combines limitless energy with a real passion for our community and caring for the people in it. You all know about the soapbox derbies and his 2 terms as mayor. He has chaired the Big Fish Committee, served on the Dogwood Days and Railroad Days committees, and been a leading proponent of the trail to Moss Brave Falls. He has donated his time to paint the library, the sports field grandstands, and the bus stops. He helps put up and take down the Christmas decorations every year, and I'm getting tired just reading all this. But it doesn't stop there. When Rita Green was ill, in the last stages of a fatal illness, Dave went by her house to check on her, found her on her knees on the floor, too weak to even open the door. He made sure she got help and was taken to the hospital. Our nominating committee received this note from Dunsmuir resident Ben Yost. When a 150-foot tall pine fell on my deck, Dave was there immediately to help out. He cares about this town. No doubt about it. And we all know how he supported Karen in her battle with cancer to the point of dyeing his hair pink. Council member Bruce Deutsch, in his letter nominating Dave for Citizen of the Year, said, he has been a true ambassador for Dunsmuir. His ability to relate to people of all ages and walks of life is one of the things that endears him to many. Whenever he meets someone visiting the city, he reaches out to them, gives out his business card, and welcomes them. And sometimes it goes beyond that. When he saw a lady struggling to fix her flat tire near the Chevron station, he stopped his car, got out, and put the spare in place. When she got home, she told her husband, "The mayor of Dunsmuir fixed my flat tire." Again, to quote Bruce, Dave is a breath of fresh air in a city known for its bitter political battles. Dave is a true leader in the sense that he brings people together in the pursuit of common goals. And I think Ed Steele has a few things to say this time.
Big Dave. I've heard the name. When I finally met him, that's what happened. It was obvious. The guy comes up, sticks that big paw out, says, "Hi, I'm Big Dave." And over the years, all the projects we worked together on, our time working together on the council, the thing that I've come to find that is the biggest about this big guy is his heart. He gives of himself. He shares extravagantly. He sort of does everything extravagantly. And he is an ambassador for Dunsmuir, the hardworking guy that gets stuff done in town, at the county level, involvement in the League of Local Agencies, on the state level, in the League of Cities, and is my dear friend, and I love him like a brother, even though every once in a while he wants to call me his dad. And there's nobody in this town more deserving of being the Citizen of the Year than Big Dave Keisler.
just a few more kind words for Big Dave. Just a couple quick stories. I probably have never seen anyone work harder at being the mayor of Dunsmuir. I mean, he's a true PR person, and I think you've heard some of those stories, fixing the tire or whatever. I've seen it firsthand. He just goes up and introduces himself. Is there anything you need? You know, anything you want to know? That kind of thing. I've actually taken some tips from Dave in that vein, because typically when you go to a bigger forum, a lot of high-level politicos, it takes someone like me who typically tends to be shy to get out of the shell. Here's someone that does it firsthand. He would no problem fitting in. So let me read you a couple of the whereases that some of the ones I really enjoy. Whereas he designed cars that could be mass-produced by him, the parents and the children. Real quick, we just met here recently, was it 2 weeks ago, regarding you want to move the soapbox derby. I mean, talk about an original person, right? I mean, it's something that's really going to be something great. Whereas Big Dave gathered sponsors and donations to provide any child who wanted to participate in an opportunity, whether their family could afford to enter and build a car or not. Whereas Big Dave determined to do everything in his power to find a path forward for a Mossbury Falls trail, convened a meeting of stakeholders to break free of the inertia that has stymied efforts for decades, and we're still working on that, aren't we, Dave?
Yes, sir.
Whereas Big Dave has donated his time to paint both the football field, grandstand, and the city library, and led the effort to repair and paint the city's bus stops. Whereas he dedicated to doing the right thing for his adopted city and getting everything he has to do right by the people, it was unanimously adopted. I can't think of someone that's more deserving, someone that I'm proud to call a friend. He's really something that I would call a treasure for the city of Dunsmuir. So, thank you.
Okay, so Dave, if you can overcome your shyness and come up here for a minute. So we got a few more awards for you. Let's see, this is to Big Dave Keisler, Citizen of the Year Award from Congressman Lamalfa. There you go.
Thank you.
And certificate of recognition for Big Dave Keisler. These all say Big Dave on them officially. In honor of receiving Citizen of the Year from the Assemblyman of the 1st District, Brian Dolly. There you go. And then, of course, representing the California State Senate, also an award from Senator Ted Gaines. So the award which I'm honored to present to Big Dave tonight, Citizen of the Year Award, serves not only to give credit where credit is due, to acknowledge a job well done, in fact, many jobs well done, but I think it's also an affirmation of our community. We must have something going for us if a guy like Dave Keisler thinks Dunsmuir is worth all the time and energy he puts into it. So, Dave, my pleasure to present you with the Citizen of the Year Award.
Yeah, they told me about that. Forgot glasses. One of the things I tell people when I meet them is, what's special about Dunsmuir is if you don't see smoke coming out of Miss Smith's chimney, you stop and you ask Miss Smith, is she okay? You don't find that nowhere else. And these are some of the people that I would like to thank for my journey here. When I first came to town, some of you people looked at me kind of funny. Some of you still do. But it was in the beginning that Louis Dewey, he took a chance on me. He gave me a job and a place to live. I later made into my home. Later, he let me use his truck for my soapbox stuff. He donated money to it, and he even gave me time off to get materials. He helped us when Karen had cancer, as well as so many others. I haven't had to buy a turkey for Thanksgiving in 7 years. I owe the man so much, he could probably claim me as a dependent on his taxes. Now, I had the honor of meeting his dad, Bob Dewey, before he passed away. And it was at his funeral that I was touched. I said, man, the whole community loved that guy, and that guy seemed to love the whole community back. That got me thinking, that was honorable. Louie, Belinda, and Mama Dewey have always made me feel like family. Louie, you've been there for me for a shoulder to cry on, an advisor, and my friend. And I love you, Louie. I'm honored to be part of the Rotary. You know that saying, you can't soar with the eagles if you surround yourself with turkeys. Well, they are my eagles. They believed on me from the first soapbox and have had so since. I love everything I get to do with the Rotary and the kids, from reading to them or being principal of the day. With the soapbox, I teach them to build something for themselves. And with the Rotary, we go around and we give dictionaries to all the third graders. And it's that look they give you when they say, it's mine, you know? David Hicks is my Rotary sponsor, and I'd like to thank you, David, for taking a chance on me. I hope I make you proud. The soapbox event was intended to bring families together and our community together. It worked. From Brenda and Tom Bain's first check to sponsor the very first car, to the Rotary sponsoring the whole thing. I had major contributors like the Pizza Factory, Manfredi's, and Burger Barn for about 4,000 ice creams. Everybody got on board. My best friend, Paul and Bert, have helped me every clinic, build every car, 2,009 cars to date. Wow. Guy Shute, Larry Baker, Wayne and his kids, Gumby and his family, Jennifer Titus and her family, the Collins family, Ray Keller, and for all the people I haven't mentioned. Thank you. Thank you for believing in me, supporting my ideas, and being my friend. Hell, I didn't do it, we did. Somewhere I went political. I really don't know what happened, but I think I'm pretty good at it. There are a lot of people behind the scenes, like my girls at City Hall. Not only do they really keep the city together, there's been times when they really kept me together. I appreciate them, and I'm honored to work with them. Ed Steele, my mentor. I like this part. I love you like my dad. Thank you, sir, for reining me in at times and letting me go at others. It was an honor to serve on council with you, and you are my hero. Ed Valenzuela, thank you for putting your campaign sign in my yard. You know, this is all your fault. That's where it started. Thank you for being there, all the phone calls, all the meetings, and all the coffee. Thank you, sir. To Sheriff John Lope, thank you for believing and supporting me and my crazy ideas. Above all, for the respect that you've always shown me and to my town, I'm honored to call you my friend. Mario Rubino, hours and hours and hours and hours. You have educated and enlightened me. Your knowledge of our water and storm systems amazes me. I'm honored to call you too, my friend. Bruce Deutsch, retired Navy commander and barbecue partner. It took me 2 years to get him to speak up, and now we can't get him to shut up. Thank you, Bruce, for your camaraderie and all your wise advice. I'm honored to be in the ring with you now, and honored to have you as my friend. Tim Holt, thank you for nominating me, and I got a little thing. Heck, what else you want to pay me? Ron McLeod, to me, is the man who knows all. It amazes me that I haven't given him a nervous breakdown. Of course, it ain't over yet. You have no idea, or do you realize how many thousands of washers, nuts, and bolts, hundreds of tires, rolls of rope, springs, miscellaneous hardware that he has got for me. And he donates money too. We've laughed, we've cried, or I've cried. Thank you, sir, and I cherish our friendship. And Karen, It was her that said, you can do the soapbox things for all the kids. She's been behind me 100%, and now we don't talk politics in the house. I love you, Dave. Thank you. To all the people who have put up with me on all the committees, Dogwood Days, Big Fish, Safety, Railroad, Siskiyou Trails, I forgot like 4 or 5 of them. All of them. Thank you for even allowing me to be part of the team. I'm honored to be part of you. I was louder than most, sort of made a scene, but I'm proud of my efforts on the Mossbury Falls Trail. I hope the momentum continues. And I'm proud of the fact that we still get to put Big Fish in the river again this year, thanks to Pace Engineering's big, generous donation. And above all, I'm proud of the way this town sticks together, like the night of the dog on the park issue at the community building. That night I was proud of Dunsmuir, and I was honored. Hell, I've survived so far. I sleep good at nights, knowing I've always fought for Dunsmuir, and I'm truly honored to be part of a council now, a cohesive council, a team with the greater Dunsmuir as its vision, a safe, beautiful, and honorable place to raise our children. I guess I've used some form of the word honor a lot tonight. And that's what I hope I do when I do what I do, is to honor our town and to honor all of you. I think you're worth it. It's truly an honor to be part of this community. Thank you for this prestigious award. Thank you all for coming out tonight. God bless all of you. God bless Dunsmuir.
Well, that brings to a close our portion of honoring. Did I miss something?
No, we're giving hugs and kisses over.
Yeah.
Oh, don't let me get into it. You're too hairy. That brings to a close our portion of honoring these two outstanding contributors to the life of Dunsmuir. And this is an event that honors everybody here, and it honors this town. Thank you very much. And I'm using Dave's words, honor, because it's an appropriate word. Thank you all very much. I did forget something. Barbara, would you come up to the stage, please? But before she does, on her way up, this event was put together by a committee that worked very hard. Under the guidance, tutelage, and
Bossiness, is that the?
bossy. No, I used the term velvet whip talking about another recipient at one point. But the velvet whip is very good for Barbara Cross. Barbara Cross was the chairperson of this event and did a beautiful, beautiful job.
Thank you, Will. I won't keep you long. It's been a wonderful evening, and I certainly couldn't hope to equal the rhetoric of these two winners. That was inspiring. But I would like to add to the sentiments already expressed that not only are we honoring these very deserving gentlemen, we are, in a larger sense, honoring everybody here. And I would just like the former recipients of one of these two awards in the past, would you just please stand? There's a number of you here. We really do have an extraordinary town, and when I was looking for a home here, some of the realtors kept asking me, these were local realtors, but not the present ones, don't you want to look up in Mount Shasta? And finally, I kind of lost my temper, and I said, no. I said, that town is spread all out from hell to gone, and I think is what I said, and there's no there. This is a community. this is where I want to be. So, of course, I did find a home, and I never have regretted it. We are a community, we're tight, we fight like family, because that's what family does. But it's an honor to live here, and I think everyone in this room feels that and knows that. So we celebrate that, as well as our winners for this year. I would like to thank the committee. We did work hard, and I'd like to thank Jeannie Rogers, my co-chair. And the others, Tim Holt, Linda Price, Will Newman, Linda Guzman, Candace Miller, Helen Cartwright, Dan Padilla, Tony Conji, Ed Steele, and I would especially like to thank our wonderful chef who gave us a wonderful meal, Liza. So thanks for coming, and when you get discouraged over any particular event, remember that we only go 3-4 steps forward, and we do have those steps backward, but they're never as many as the steps forward. So the difference between when I moved here, when Peter moved here, when some of us who have only been here a few years, like 10 or 15, the difference between Dunsmuir now and when I bought my home in 01 is indescribable. And so will it be in another 15 years. We are making progress. Thank you all for your participation in it.
Okay, everybody. Clean your plates. We need, let's see.
We have this off, right?
Everybody, no.